Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the United Stand. We are joined by Fabrizio Romano. Fabrizio, thank you for coming on again. And yeah, we're
Thank you.
excited to have you on.
Thank you. Thank you as always.
Get into things straight away. I ask you this every time, and there might not be an update, but I'm asking you anyway. There has been reports on the sale maybe being able to happen before the January transfer window with Qatar leading the race. What is the sort of update on the sale process at the moment that you've got?
At the moment, they don't want to confirm. Sources directly involved into it, and I think it's normal. As I always mention, they were really disappointed with timing of this sale. So I really understand what they mean. Now to leak information is not going to help. So that's why at the moment they don't want to comment. They remain on their position. They are convinced that their proposal, especially from Qatar, is the best one. But again, at the moment, still no green light. And until they have a green light, they don't want to comment. So that's the situation now. I think after the transfer window in 2 weeks, we will be able to understand more on how fast it's going to be this process.
Well, it looks like we're heading towards a sale, which is nice to see, but we'll have to wait and see on that. Well, thank you for that update. Next, let's get into a little bit of transfers. A player that I would have liked to have in for Man United's first game of the season today, but it is Amrabat. And you reported quite a lot that Amrabat is still waiting for Manchester United. But, you know, with Liverpool looking in the market for that sort of role, is there any chance he could be maybe swooped up by another team before it's time for Man United to go and get him?
Honestly, there is always this chance until you sign a player. We saw in many cases that this can happen. And honestly, the feeling between Amrabat and Man United is very good. Amrabat wants Manchester United, but Amrabat has not signed any contract with Man United. And also, it's fair to say that he's waiting for United since the end of June. So it's taking a lot of time. But from what I'm hearing, the player is still there. He's still keen on the move. He wants to go to United. He wants to join Erik ten Hag. So he can't do anything else rather than waiting and waiting every single week. Then if something else happens, we have to see. At the moment, there are no other negotiations. We had rumors with Italian press mentioning Juventus, but at the moment, I'm not aware of any concrete negotiation with Juve. So at the moment, the player is still waiting for United. Then at some point, it's going to be time for Man United to start official negotiations, because we heard many times that they sent official bids to Fiorentina. No, at the moment, there is still no bid, because they wanted to complete the Fenerbahce deal with Fred, and now the Donny van de Beek deal with Real Sociedad, because that deal remains on. And then I think the negotiations will start, or Man United will move on another target, because as of now they have not sent any official bid yet.
Is there any other midfielders that are in the list that you can tell us about?
There are many. I think they have 3-4 names, as always. I saw reports from Germany in the recent weeks mentioning Goretzka, and he's a player who's always been appreciated by Erik ten Hag. But at the moment, they know that this could be an expensive one, a complicated one, with Bayern, who are looking for a center midfielder too. So that's the problem. It's not going to be an easy one. And so for Goretzka, at the moment, there is nothing concrete, just an appreciation, but nothing concrete yet. And Onana from Everton is another player that Man United have always appreciated, and they've been scouting him for a long time. So I think they have multiple names into the list, but I keep saying that Sofyan Amrabat is the priority target. Sofyan Amrabat is top of the list, and Sofyan Amrabat is waiting for Man United because he knows that Man United want him as a priority. Also, I think in terms of money, in terms of budget, this could be the perfect deal, because would help Man United not to spend crazy money on a defensive midfielder. He has a short contract at Fiorentina, so I think he could leave the club for something around 28, 29 million euros, and this could be a bargain, I think, for United, for one of the best players at the World Cup, who is performing at Super League and in Serie A since long time.
Yeah, it's a great deal, especially when you look at the fees that are going around for midfielders at the moment. It's crazy, isn't it? So it would be a great deal for us. Moving on to the centre-back situation, you've reported that Man United like Benjamin Pavard, they like Todibo, Tapsoba, even Mark Gay of Crystal Palace has been put into the list that we've seen going round. But it looks like Pavard is probably the most advanced option right now, along with maybe Todibo as well. What can you tell us about the Pavard deal? Because that one that seems the most advanced right now.
Yeah, so to clarify, I feel that Pavard is option number 1, Todibo is option number 2, and then there are Tapsoba and Gueye as other opportunities in case the first 2 options don't work. But the feeling is that Man United will push for Pavard and Todibo, so they will try to understand which one of these 2 is the best opportunity. But Pavard deal is something very concrete in terms of player side at the moment, because I'm hearing that the player is really keen on joining Manchester United. He wants to get this opportunity to go to the Premier League, to try a new chance. He knows that also Erik ten Hag is a big fan of his ability to play in different positions, because Pavard can help as a fullback and not just as a centre-back. And this is important for United to have a defensive fullback like Pavard into the squad. Could help in some crucial moments of the season. So the feedback between Pavard and Man United is excellent. The player wants to go, and Man United feel that also conditions of the salary are correct. So the agreement on personal terms is not a problem at all. It's about Bayern now, because Man United approached Bayern, it was Friday last week, and from Bayern they were not really keen on the transfer of Benjamin Pavard, because they still want to keep him. He's an important player for Tuchel. But from what I'm hearing during the weekend and even today, and I think this will continue, Pavard has been really clear with Bayern, with the board, with the manager. He wants to go. He's not going to sign a new contract. His contract expires in summer 24 and he's not extending. And so he believes that for both sides, player and also club, is the best way to find a solution and to go to Man United. So Pavard is pushing for the move. Let's see what happens between United and Bayern, but for sure this is the priority at the moment for Man United. Meanwhile, they sent their scouts to follow Todibo over the weekend with Nice. They already know the conditions of the deal. They had multiple contacts with player side for Todibo too. So these are the two main options. Let's see what Man United will decide to do in the coming weeks and days.
Will they will only move for one of them? I'm right on saying that.
At the moment, yes. At the moment, yes.
With Harry Maguire, because he's obviously the reason that we're looking for a defensive player coming in, it was reported that a deal was agreed with West Ham for 30 million. David Moyes said it himself in his press conference, but it does seem like there's been a little bit of a hold up with this deal. Erik ten Hag did just say in his press conference that there's no reason why he can't be Man United's number one centre-back, but we know Erik ten Hag says stuff in press conferences that sometimes don't happen and don't come into fruition. But where are we at on this deal? Like, is there a reason it's been stalled? Is there a chance it might not go through?
So there are 2 points. The first one is that Man United really want to advance on the replacement side before giving the final green light to the Harry Maguire deal. So this is why they contacted Bayern last week. This is why they're speaking to the Todibo representatives to make sure they know the conditions of the deal. So this is the first point. And the second point is personal terms. So when a player like Harry Maguire, who is an important salary at Manchester United, has to move to West Ham, the payoff is always a topic. So the conversation between United and Maguire about the salary, and then the conversation between Maguire and West Ham about his new salary at West Ham. So that's why it's a slow deal. That's why it's taking some time. The conversation is still ongoing. West Ham remain optimistic. David Moyes really wants him, so he's really pushing also behind the scenes to make it happen, to be fast and to have the player available as soon as possible. But at the moment, still no green light. Let's see what happens between today, tomorrow. Still working on the payoff, still working on the new salary. The deal is there, as you mentioned, between the clubs is done. Moyes confirmed it's £30 million, so everything is ready. But now it's crucial for the player to say, okay, yes, I'm coming, and the contracts are fine.
So do you think Maguire does want to go then?
Yeah, I think it's about the personal terms. It's not about the club. He never said I will not go to West Ham. So he wants to speak to West Ham and to understand how much they are prepared to pay. So it's this kind of things that is normal. When you're an important player in Man United and you have to change, I think this is absolutely normal.
Perfect. Thank you for that update, because I know a few people were a little bit worried that one was going to collapse, including myself. So it's good to see it's on the right track. Next up, Scott McTominay. There was a lot of links with him to West Ham, other clubs as well. I think Roma was put in there. And we've heard recently that he is going to stay at Manchester United this summer. I wanted to ask you, is McTominay going to stay, or is a move still looking likely for him?
If he's going to stay, it's because Man United are not putting him out of the project. So there are some pro players, like we always said here, Fred is out of the project, and many others that were completely out of the idea of Erik ten Hag. For McTominay, it's not like that. He's in that range of the players, together with Maguire, for example. If they get a good proposal, they can let him go. Otherwise, he will stay at the club, and there is no problem at all to continue there. So that's the point. At the moment, he's staying because there is no correct proposal on the table. Man United believe that the proposal they received from West Ham, £30 million, is not enough to sign a player like McTominay with international experience, ready to make an impact immediately. So they feel that this is not enough. Let's see if West Ham will return with a new proposal. At the moment, they're going on different players. They're busy with different deals. But we also saw, for example, with Ward Pros, they changed their mind in 3 days and they decided to go and sign the player with a new proposal when the deal was completely off. So this could change. I don't want to give anything final on McTominay, but at the moment there is nothing ongoing because Man United turned down that proposal, and for Erik ten Hag is a player who could help. Also, is a British player, and this is also important for Man United in case, especially they lose Harry Maguire going to West Ham.
Yeah, I get that with the quota and everything like that. Well, it'd be interesting to see what happens with that. But Donny van der Beek, another midfielder that's out the door, well, looks like he's going to be out the door. You spoke about him a little bit earlier with Sociedad. Does that look like it's a move that's going to go through? Because it has seemed to be, the talk seems to have been ongoing for quite a while now.
Yeah, it's not an easy deal because it started with Man United asking for a permanent transfer and for Real Sociedad asking for a loan with buy option. Then they started to discuss how to activate the buy option to make it mandatory in case he does a number of games and appearances at Real Sociedad. Then they started to discuss about the loan fee. The loan fee is another important topic. And then how to cover the salary. Man United don't want to cover more than 30-40% of the salary of Donny van de Beek. So there is this kind of discussion now between Real Sociedad and Man United. So it's about the formula of the deal because the player is keen on the move. From what I'm hearing, Donny van de Beek is very happy about this possibility. He would be happy to try an experience in a different country, in a different club. So he's open to make it happen. It's about the clubs. They are still negotiating. It's true that Real Sociedad are signing Zakarian, this talented boy from Dynamo Moscow, but it's different kind of midfielder. So they are still interested in van de Beek. The conversation continue. Again, at the moment, it's not a done deal. It's still under discussion, but it's not off. We heard during the weekend, okay, he's off, he's collapsed. No, it's not collapsed. It's still on, and they are still speaking about the formula of the deal. Then let's see, because when there is this kind of loan with buy option, with a big salary, with a loan fee, there are many things to discuss between the two clubs.
Yeah, well, I hope he does get the move because he needs to play football, and I think that's what we all want for him. But moving on, there actually has been some reports that Inter Milan, I think it is, are interested in Anthony Martial. Is that something that could happen, or does Ten Hag want to keep him?
I'm not aware of that, honestly. Inter are working on different things, and at the moment there is nothing concrete for Martial. Then let's see, because I can confirm that someone in Inter board always appreciated him. So it's true that they appreciate the player, but this is something from 2-3 years ago. This summer, they never made any contact to make it happen. Then Inter are looking for a striker. So let's see. But at the moment, they are not negotiating for Martial. And I would include him in the same list as Harry Maguire, Scott McTominay. In case Man United get some important proposals, they are open to make the deal happen. Otherwise, they're happy to keep the player because Ten Hag appreciates him. It's just about the injuries, but he appreciates the player and he believes that he could help Man United this season, especially with Champions League football. So I think he also has a chance to stay at the club.
Interesting. I like Martial. I just hope he can stay. I hope he can stay fit. Sancho, again, another player that you spoke about. Then there's been links to him to Villa. Is there anything concrete in that?
No, I think Sancho at the moment, we heard many links during the window, return to Dortmund, then Tottenham, then Villa. At the moment, there is nothing concrete. And I think the player is really focused on Man United. He's really grateful to Harry Ten Hag because Ten Hag and his staff, they really helped in a difficult moment. And so now he's back. He's in a good condition. He's very happy to give his contribution to Man United. So at the moment, the situation is really quiet around Sancho. Then never say never on the market, because we know that if they get important proposals, especially with the financial fair play for Man United, it's always important to consider these proposals for players who are maybe not that crucial. But in the case of Sancho, they are very happy with him. So I'm not sure that he's going to leave this summer at all.
Interesting stuff. I hope he has a good season. Dean Henderson, Ten Hag speaking about him potentially staying. Looks like he was going to Forest, then he signed Turner. Is there any news on him leaving the club, and will he leave the club this summer?
Look, what I heard when Forest signed Turner from Arsenal is that they are still interested in Dean Henderson, but this is something that they want to consider in the final weeks of the window. So not last week and maybe not this week, because their idea is to continue with Matt Turner as a starting goalkeeper and then to decide in the coming days and weeks what they want to do with Dean Henderson. So the interest remains, but at their conditions. While Man United wanted a loan with obligation to buy, so a mandatory buy clause in order to make it a permanent transfer, Nottingham Forest were offering a loan with buy option, not mandatory. So that's why the situation was a bit complicated between the two clubs. Also, the injury of Dean Henderson was not helping in that case. So that's why I think he has a chance to stay, but I would keep the door open for Nottingham Forest because nothing has been decided yet.
Okay, thank you for that. I just want to ask towards the end of the show, we spoke a little bit about Onana from Everton earlier. Is he someone that's up there on the priority list for Erik ten Hag?
I would say that he's one of the players in the list. The priority target, from what I always heard, is Sofyan Amrabat. This is also the message that on player side they got, because for Amrabat, for example, in January, in the final hours of the January transfer window on deadline day, they contacted Fiorentina and they contacted the player. So they already had Amrabat in the list in January. With Onana, this didn't happen. Man United were not in for Onana in January, despite the player was in the mix for a potential transfer. So that's why I think that the priority remains Amrabat. And Onana at the moment is not a priority. He's in the list, but the priority remains Sofyan Amrabat. Then never say never, because in the market things can change. But as of today, I would keep the name of Sofyan Amrabat as the big target. And also on the player side, he's really waiting for United. He can't wait to play for Man United. So he's just waiting. He can't do anything else now.
And then with Palestri, it looks like he's going on loan. It's heard that maybe he's going to go to a Prem team now. Where are we at on that? And also Brandon Williams, is he going to be looking to leave?
Yeah, for Brandon Williams, there is still no decision. I think it's something that will be discussed this week also with his representatives. And for Pellistri, for sure, he will go on loan. They want to extend his contract before sending him on loan. So there is a positive discussion ongoing since April. So long negotiations, also because there has been some change in the players' camp, but everything is okay. Pellistri will extend the contract, and then they will pick the best opportunity on loan. There is something in the Premier League. There is Twente and Eredivisie. There is something also in Italy with Bologna. They've always been interested. So there is a lot of interest in Pellistri. They are not short of opportunities. So they will decide in the next days.
And then is there any chance Man United swoop in for some sort of striker at the end of the window, maybe a loanee or anything like that?
Honestly, at the moment, I'm not aware of any contact. I also saw these reports, but I'm not aware of any contact. Then let's see. If it happens, I will let you know. But at the moment, the focus is on midfielder and centre-back.
Okay, thank you, Fabrizio, so much for your updates. And let's hope Man United get the first win tonight. Let's hope that happens. But thank you for coming on,
Ciao,
and
bye.
we'll see you in the future. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Well, everybody, that was Fabrizio Romano talking all things transfers. It's really nice to have Fabrizio on the show and get some clarification on a few subjects. First clarification that we got, which I'm very, very happy about, is that the Maguire deal is very much on. And the reason why I'm happy about this is because I'm not going to lie. I was very nervous about the Maguire deal. Moving forward, looking at what's happening at other clubs and looking at how other clubs are moving, I was thinking, with Erik ten Hag, we know he likes to sometimes fib. I won't say lie, but fib, maybe cover up the truth in his press conferences. And that is exactly what happened, because he did speak and say that there's no reason that Harry Maguire can't be the first choice centre-back for Man United. He's first choice for England, so why can't he be first choice here? It's his choice whether he wants to come and fight for his spot. And when I saw that, I was like, well, at first I was like, right, no, because I don't want Maguire getting any sort of idea that he can stay and fight for his spot, and he kind of calls off his move to West Ham. But then I sat there and I thought about it, and I thought, Ten Hag also said Ronaldo was a massive part of his plans. He also said he wanted De Gea to stay. He said a lot of things, Erik ten Hag, in press conferences that doesn't happen, and the complete opposite happens behind the scenes. So that kind of put me at ease a little bit, and having that little update from Romano that Maguire does want to leave and he does want a challenge. It's just all about personal terms, basically money right now, and how much he's going to get paid and how much Man United are going to pay him out. It's good for us because it means that move is still on the cards. The only thing is it means that Pavard looks like he's going to come in, and I want to get your opinions on that. By the way, everyone, Man United's first game of the season tonight. I'm absolutely buzzing, I would say, in the words of a Mancunian. I am buzzing for it, and I really hope that it's a good game. And I wish we had more than 2 signings in for this opening game. We've got Anana and Mount. Højlund's obviously injured, but I'm very, very excited, and I think we're gonna beat Wolves quite a bit. I'm gonna put it out there. I'm thinking at least 3-0 on this one. But let's talk about the transfer news that I was just talking to Fabrizio about. And the next one I want to talk about was, with Maguire leaving, Pavard. Pavard is the top priority. And that's something, again, some really good clarification on that from Fabrizio, because I went into this interview thinking, Todibo news is coming out and it looks really positive. Pavard looks like he's massively pushing. And from the agent's front, that news is probably getting fed out into the media because he wants to leave. Sometimes that doesn't mean it's as advanced as what it's being told to the media, because a player, when he wants to leave, that news can come out there. But straight from Fabrizio, who's been obviously, he's, amazing on transfers, he's saying that he thinks that Pavard is the number 1 priority. Todibo is number 2. How do you feel about that one, guys? Because I'm going to be honest, Todibo was my number 1. Pavard was probably not even in my radar. Pavard is a very good player. People in the chat are about to come on to me saying Pavard's a World Cup winner, he's a great player. He's a very good player. For me personally, I wanted to go with a centre-back that's young, 23, and Pavard's not old, he's 27. That's like in his prime. But I wanted to go for someone young that can eventually maybe take that right centre-back spot and has all the attributes. Todibo, for me, has all the attributes that's needed to eventually become, the first choice right-sided centre-back for United in the future. Learning under Varane, I thought it would be a brilliant fit. He's got pace, he's got aggression, he's brilliant on the ball. Pavard is a player that is a good right back. He's a decent right-sided centre-back, but I just don't think he works long-term. I might be wrong, but he's not, for me, long term. He's not something that I'd be looking at long term to be right-sided centre-back, and that's what we're looking at here. We're looking for a right-sided centre-back, and Pavard for me long-term in that area wasn't my top priority, but I'm getting behind Ten Hag and I'm trusting him. So get in the chat what you guys think. Liam says, Beth, would you take João Felix on loan? Would I take João Felix on loan? I would, but it's not something I'd be absolutely desperate for. I rate João Felix super highly. Like, I really like him. And in January, I was massively pushing for it before we got Weghorst. And I wish we did get João Felix, to be honest with you. But it's not something I think now we've got Højlund in is huge for us. But it would be good to have depth with João Felix in there. But he's a player that would probably want to play every single game. And where would he fit in? That's the thing. Squad depth is the one though. If Pavard was faster, I would take him, says MKF. I watched Bayern Leipzig as well at the weekend. Anyone else just have an absolute football binge fest over the course of the weekend, because I definitely did do that. I think Saturday I watched obviously the Forest Arsenal game, then I watched Brighton Luton at 3:00, or listen to it on the radio, as you would say. Then I watched the evening game, and then I went straight on to, I think it was Newcastle Villa, what a game that was. Then I went straight on to Leipzig Bayern, and Pavard, I know he's only one game, and I have seen more of him other than that game, but didn't really impress me. But neither did the whole of Bayern Munich. They looked pretty poor, to be honest with you. But Leipzig looked way better, but for me, it just wasn't. It's just not someone I'm not going to lie. I'm not excited about this transfer, and I want to be, but I'm not. But it looks like it's the one that's going to happen. And I back Ten Hag. We get behind the player. I just think, for Dalot and Wan-Bissaka, it's a little bit like he's probably going to play right back a lot of the times if Ten Hag really rates him. Dalot's just signed a new contract. It looks like Wan-Bissaka's about to sign a new contract. Where do they fall in line after that? It's an interesting one. Kim and Jay looked amazing when he came on. I don't get why Tuchel didn't start him, to be honest with you. I can't lie about that. Pavard can make a good signing for Man United. What we do know is, would you rather have Pavard at Manchester United or Maguire? That's the simple answer. And what I would say is obviously Pavard by a country mile. And Maguire is going for 30 million. It looks like you can get Pavard out for, I think it was 29 million. Romano was talking about. So, when you're looking at a deal, it's a good deal because you're getting a worse player out for a better player for the same price. If not, maybe even a little bit less when it comes to Pavard. So it's a good deal. But if I had the option, I would go with Todibo. And I think a lot of you in the chat say that Todibo has a higher ceiling. It's not as if he has a higher ceiling, because Pavard is a great player. Like, he is. He's a very good player. He's done a lot in his career and he's won stuff. And Ten Hag probably wants the experience. He probably wants, to bring the winner's mentality into the group, and he wants to have a mix of young players and players with experience, which he's probably looking to win things this year, as he should be. But Todibo for the future, I think, has a better future at Man United, if I'm being honest with you. But here we are. And what else did we talk about? Sober and Gahey look like the backup options. I don't think we'll move to any of them. Talked about Maguire a little bit. Amrabat, this was one I wanted to speak about. Obviously, we led on that story of Sofyan Amrabat. And all I want to say is I'm happy, because I was looking at, the market, and I can't believe for the life of me that Liverpool haven't massively, massively pushed to go and get Amrabat. I can't believe it. They were willing to pay. And obviously, Caicedo is an unbelievable talent. I think he's 22 years old. I'm jealous. Caicedo is brilliant. But £115 million is what Caicedo has gone for. And then they were going for Lavia. I think they've just put in a 60 million bid for Lavia. Amrabat is ready to come in and play a 6 role now in the Premier League. And he was one of the best players of the World Cup, like Romano said. He's 27 years old, in his prime. He's honestly very, very, very good. I know he only wants United, and I think there's rumours that he turned down Liverpool, which, again, we absolutely love. Liverpool just keep getting turned down. Apparently, Lavia preferred to go to Chelsea now as well. Imagine two players picking Chelsea over Liverpool right now. Imagine we're United and we're going for players and they just keep picking Chelsea over us. I wouldn't want to leave the house. It's so embarrassing. But I can't believe they've not tried to go for Amrabat and sweep him. But as Romano says, Amrabat has been waiting for Man United since June. This deal has been talked about. And Ten Hag's been speaking to him and said, just wait. Fred needs to leave, Van der Beek needs to leave, and then we'll get you in. And I just want to say, I love Amrabat already. For one, waiting for Man United, because other teams will have come into that race. He's a brilliant player. And to think about this, the deals that have been going on, like Lavia's going for 60 million, it looks like, maybe even more. Caicedo's gone for 115. These are great young, talented players. But then you look at us getting Amrabat in for 29 million. 29 million euros is what Romano said. It's an excellent bit of business. It's a brilliant bit of business by Erik ten Hag and Manchester United. You can't deny it if that happens. And the fact that Amrabat's waiting for us and is a top quality player is really, really exciting, to be honest with you, because it shows that how much respect that he has for Erik ten Hag and what he's building here at Man United. Because there's other opportunities that he definitely will have been offered. And I think we can see that Ten Hag's building something really good here with Man United, and he's really kind of changing the squad and improving it, and obviously wants to win things. And I'm excited for tonight's game because I really do think United can have a brilliant season this season. So I'm excited. Anthony Tracy said Caicedo and Bellingham should be United 6s and 8s. ... Ed. Yeah, it's ridiculous that we didn't sign Caicedo for 4.5 million because of the agent fees. Makes me just want to honestly, it's so annoying, but Man United have done this multiple times, and Bellingham literally got shown round Old Trafford and we screwed it up. But I say this all the time. We would have signed Caicedo and Bellingham. I guarantee they probably would have been in the under 23s because we didn't have a clue what we were doing at the time, and we didn't have coaches in place that knew what they were doing either. No disrespect, but to the level that Erik ten Hag has. If Ten Hag was there and we signed them players, of course they'd be integrated in and, they would be developed. But I don't think Caicedo and Bellingham would have probably gone on to have the careers that they've had if they would have come to United. And that's an indicament of what Man United were at the time. And it's great to see how far we're kind of coming on that. One, Abby Saka says, all this talk about a young centre-back, we all wanted Kim and Jae. Spoilers, Kim and Jae is 28 in November. Yeah, and Kim and Jae is top draw. If you ask me who I want to play right side, who I want to play as a centre-back, Kim and Jae or Pavard, I'm going to pick Kim and Jae every day of the week. Sorry to Pavard. It's true. If Pavard, I've always seen Pavard as a right back. I know he wants to play centre-back and he's played centre-back a lot for Bayern, but it's just not my pick what my pick would have been at centre-back, but I trust Ten Hag on this one. Liam says, Beth, who would you take to replace McTominay? I would have gone for Lavia, to be honest with you. I think it's a good deal for whoever gets him, Liverpool or Chelsea. God, I had a brain blunt then. I would go Amrabat first and foremost, by the way. I actually would, because he's more established in the 6 role. Lavia needs time to adapt to the 6. A lot of people think he's going to come in and be one of the top 6s. He's a brilliant player, but for Southampton, he actually played more as an 8 role, to be honest with you. And he will develop into a 6, but right now Amrabat is the better 6, right now. So I would have gone for Amrabat for right now purposes, because obviously if Caicedo, not Caicedo, I wish. Obviously if Casemiro wasn't fit and he's had red cards, you want someone in who can play that role to a high standard, and Amrabat can. So I'd go for Amrabat to replace, obviously, Fred and Donny first and foremost. But if we got rid of McTominay, I would definitely go for Lavia, because I think at 19 years old, the future there for him is very, very good. I really liked him when I watched him last year. He looks very good. So I would have gone for him, to be honest. Stephen Ross J, all signs seem to indicate that the Amrabat deal should be easy to complete, but I am concerned that these executives will find a way to screw it up. I hope it's going to happen. I've said for a long time, I'm basically in the 99.9% club with this. I don't see how it doesn't happen unless someone hijacks it and Amrabat decides he doesn't want to wait any longer. But Ten Hag wants him. His priority, number 1 for the midfield. As soon as Donny van der Beek leaves and Romano says them talks with Sociedad are very much still on, Man United are probably going to go in for Amrabat. And it is annoying. I would have liked to have him in now. But because we've got Casemiro that is obviously available to start and raring to go, it's not as if we're in desperate need for Amrabat now. But we need it to happen soon, because we've got Spurs away, we've got Arsenal away coming up. You want Amrabat in really for them games, to be honest with you, because you want Ten Hag to have the ability to make the midfield more defensively assured, and Amrabat definitely does that. So I want it to happen soon. Honestly, I really do. If Casemiro had got injured a few days ago, I guarantee the Amrabat deal would have happened already. It's just because we can afford to let it, go on a little bit. We want to get this Van der Beek deal wrapped up, I think, first, but hopefully we can get Amrabat done soon. I'm not worried about it. I'm really not. Let's see what anybody else is saying. Have I missed anything? And exactly, Mainoo's got injured, which should have hurried up the deal. You would hope so. But the fact we've got Mainoo in there as well is exciting. It really, really is. Other little updates is obviously Onana from Everton. Ten Hag's been linked to him for quite a while. I think his second priority, Romano was alluding to, after Amrabat. Amrabat's first. Goretzka, as people saying he's on the list as well, which great player. I would not mind that one bit. Onana is, again, a player I really like from Everton, not the goalkeeper. We've already got him. I think he's a good player, but he'd be about 50 million. Amrabat's going to be like 29 million euros. So, you understand it, but maybe it's someone we move to in the future, and he's young and, he's young and got a lot of years ahead of him. Someone that Ten Hag definitely likes. Martial to Milan. Romano's not heard anything on it. Villa with Sancho is not happening right now. There's nothing concrete, which is interesting to know. What I liked, what Romano did bring up, is Sancho's very happy with Ten Hag and he really wants to focus on United and he appreciates him for how he handled everything last season. And I really like that because despite what people think about, Sancho maybe, going or Ten Hag wanting him to leave, I don't think that's the case. I think Ten Hag's actually got a good relationship with Sancho. They're working together behind the scenes. And I really hope Sancho can kick on and have a good season with us this season. Palestra looks like he's going on loan too. Williams looks like he's going to go as well next week. That could happen. And Henderson to Forest is still on apparently. So let's just hope that happens. I don't see it, to be honest, now they've got Turner in. And if it does happen, it's going to be a really, really crappy loan deal, I feel like. But we'll see. We'll see what happens on that. A bit surprised that we haven't got any striker targets, even as a loan moving into the, end period of the window. Maybe that'll change. But that's where we're at right now, and that's what Romano said. Oh, and on the sale as well. We spoke about the sale at the start of the show. If you missed it, make sure you check that out. Romano was pretty confident on the fact that it looks like, things are progressing. And once the transfer window closes, we'll have a bigger update on that. But we're confident that a sale is going to happen. So that's exciting for anyone who kind of doubted that, they might pull out of this sale. I think a sale is going to happen. And I think the transfer window closing is going to be a big kind of time for this to start kicking on. I hope anyway. I'm hoping that. And lastly, Steve Rush J. In wanting Pavard, Erik ten Hag might be thinking he wants a centre-back who is a more finished product now than Todibo, who is good but still developing. Very good points. But it's like Varane's going to start anyway. Like Varane is going to be the starting centre-back. Lindelof had a brilliant end to the season. So Lindelof's going to play. So I don't think it's integral that he has someone that is completely the finished article now. I don't think that is integral because you've got Varane and Lindelof, who I think are both top quality. So, but Ten Hag, we trust him in what he's thinking. Darren Mulaney, I think we will get a surprise signing on final day. Maybe Tchouaméni from Real Madrid. Could you imagine that? I like the way you're thinking, Darren. I don't think it will be at all, but I would absolutely love it. Tchouaméni is definitely someone I'd keep an eye on next summer as well. Because, if Man United continue to develop and Tchouaméni, that kind of move still keeps getting talked about, it'd be an unbelievable signing. I really rate him. And then Beth says, Leo J, would you take Antonio Silva from Benfica? He's a young, exciting centre-back. Would I? You wouldn't have to ask me twice, I tell you that. I think the good thing about maybe getting Pavard in is what I've spoke about before, is you get Pavard in now, maybe next summer, when United are more developed and we can kind of nail down our targets a little bit more closely. Antonio Silva is a name that United could go for, and I honestly think one of the best up-and-coming centre-backs there is. So if we get Pavard now and that means we can move for, Antonio Silva next year, that is all good with me. But there's a lot to happen between now and then, and we've not even really been linked to him. So, but he's definitely someone that I would love at Man United for sure. Is there anything else that I've missed on here from you guys? Sancho to Spurs, says Anthony Tracy. Erik ten Hag hinting no place on the wings. I don't think so. He said there's nothing concrete with Sancho at all. I think Sancho will be integrated into the squad. Let's just hope he can have a good season. And anything else I've seen? No, but that is all. Guys, in Manchester, Man United versus Wolves tonight. We've got our new signings in, Onana and Mason Mount. Also, I just want to say right now, I've seen so many people saying yesterday, oh, I wish we got Maddison over Mount. Why did we get Mount? We should have got Maddison. Mount hasn't played a single minute of Premier League football yet. Get behind your player. Get behind your new number 7, whether you wanted him to have the number 7 or not. Get behind him. Mason Mount will be a good signing for Man United. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Mount's better than McAllister, who we all saw yesterday. I know he's not a 6, but he looks like a decent player. Mount's better. Mount is going to have a good season. Get behind him. And I'm excited for tonight. I'm behind all the players. get in the comments, who's your front three? Who do you think is going to start? My front three is Garnacho, Rashford and Antony, but we'll have to wait and see. But I'm honestly cannot wait to get inside Old Trafford. I really can't. And I hope we win this game. I have a feeling that we are going to. I honestly, I think it's going to be like 3 or 4-0. Wolves, to me, just look like they have nothing going forward. But great update from Romano. Thank you, everyone, for getting involved in the chat, getting your opinions in and staying here and watching with us and talking to me afterwards. Really appreciate it. Happy for match day. Also, stay tuned. A big match day for the first match day of the United Stand 23-24 season. Got some new stuff coming out later on, which I'm excited for. Make sure you tune in. It's going to be a good one. I'm excited. But thank you, everyone, for watching. Make sure you hit a like on the video for Fabrizio. And thank you to Fabrizio for coming on, as usual, on the United Stand. And yeah, everyone, stay tuned throughout the day. It's going to be a good one. We'll see you on the next one. It'll be very shortly. Bye, everyone.